Hello, this is me, the Jonin Monkey, welcoming you to another trailer spot. Yes, I know these aren't very popular on my channel, but, well, let's just say this is something that I had to do. See, as you all know, I'm a massive Donkey Kong fanboy, and, well, this year's E3 was like heaven, frankly, since I'm sure most of you all know the trailer for the latest Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong Country Returns, made by Retro Studios, was released sometime these few weeks. And to be honest, I've been incredibly excited. In fact, when I first heard about it, I almost destroyed the house in my excitement. So, yeah, I figured the only way to deal with this would be to do a trailer spot and just do a professional analysis of every single bit of the trailer. Unfortunately, when I tried in the practice stages, I ended up going into an unintentional fangasm. So, in order to help provide his opinions as a casual Donkey Kong fan, as well as keep me restrained at all times, is my good old buddy Sven the Crusader. Say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Alrighty then, let's not waste any time because there's probably a lot to cover in this trailer, so now we'll begin. Okay, that was a pretty big build-up, I must admit. Not much to comment on here, since, apart from, well, the scenery looks nice. Very, very, very nice.
And, well, DK looks as badass as ever in glorious 3D.
That is also true. One interesting thing I noticed, it's something you only notice it happens right at the last second, but after the pan in, the camera suddenly zooms out again after DK leaves in, which makes me wonder if this is just a random theory, but it could be that every single level opens like that. Then it goes with a panorama of the scenery and then just zooms in on DK and then cuts back out. Kind of like how in Mario Galaxy you had a pan over the area.
That may be so. Certainly would be unique, since it's never happened before.
True. And plus, one common trait that happens with practically every single Donkey Kong game, to my knowledge, is that it has very nice looking scenery, so that's always a nice plus. Okay then. Roll footage. Okay, we've seen some nice platforming action, and this image we frozen on now, it clearly tells us everything we need to know about the plot, basically.
Yeah, considering the gigantic net of bananas attached to that ship, and all the buckets on the side, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, not to mention the new masked figure taunting him as he's running. I'm guessing he's a villain.
Yeah, that's just a wild guess of ours.
Either that, or he's got a very strange way of cheering them on.
Or motivating them, and yeah, that would not make much sense.
No. According to new info, just to give a few things away for the trailer, apparently these are the new villains for this game. It's a race of tribesmen called the Tiki. I'm not sure on the creativity of that name, but whatever. And essentially, yeah, the plot, in case you haven't figured it out, is they steal his bananas.
So it's basically a rehash of the original plot, only without the Kremlings.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, it's a plot that works, admittedly. Honestly, it's actually the game's fun that they presented in an epic way.
Yeah, and as long as they give Donkey Kong a reason for beating up on hapless animals.
True, that is... Well, at least this time they've taken his bananas, and according to some info I found, they use mind control on animals, so at least that's some reason, unlike in Jungle Break. Anyway.
Just making sure we're okay here before we continue.
Yes, I'm okay. I can put those bad memories behind me. I'm something positive. Roll footage. First of all, minecarts. Yay! Second of all, we see two interesting glimpses of, well, a boss fight against a kind of lizard, frog, rhino thing. And what could possibly be cutscenes? Because we saw this brief scene, this 2-second scene of DK and Diddy. Oh yeah, Diddy's also confirmed now. DK and Diddy DK and Diddy standing side by side and staring this guy down as he's chewing on bananas. So, yeah, it could be it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what that boss is.
Yeah. Well, it could be just a kind of a random monster like in the Star Wars Episode 2 thing, because one interesting thing to notice is that it's literally taking place in a boss arena by the looks of...
Yeah, because for some reason, the fact that I cannot identify that thing is really bugging me.
I don't think anyone can identify it. Maybe it's some kind of mutant monster they summoned. I mean, we've got the whole tribal thing going on. So...
Either that or they crossed dimensions and brought some Pokemon from the 5th generation in.
well, maybe, who knows?
Something for everyone.
We also vaguely see this glimpse that it seems to zoom in for DK slamming the thing in the back for the... I'm guessing that's the finishing blow and it's not going to happen for everything, which... Yeah, it could be an awesome hell yeah moment if it's actually performed well, okay?
Yeah, because really, is there anything really better than Donkey Kong being a badass?
I can't think of anything, although that may just be the fanboy me talking. One thing I noticed is that maybe it's just this angle, but the creature isn't helping matters by having a target painted on its back.
Wow.
At least it looks like it.
I think the Kremlings were more competent than these people are if they put targets on the back of their bosses.
Well, maybe that's just a natural colouring of this unfortunate species.
If so,
that's what.
Yeah, if so, we can pretty much understand why it's endangered.
Yeah, and it's probably... And again, it's the first ever boss. I mean, let's face it, Naughty Beaver wasn't exactly a...
That is true.
Captain Crow maybe, and Belcher was just weird, but not Naughty. Naughty was just... Anyway, roll for it.
Okay, pause. Are those what I think they are? Piranha Plant?
Yeah, I'll admit there's similarities.
That's a bit of an understatement to me because they look like they just came out of a pipe.
I'm pretty sure that's a stork, but,
Well, I do know that's a stock, but they look like, I swear, they look like something straight out of Mario.
It's completely different, darn it!
Yeah, those look pretty similar to me.
It's just your imagination. There is nothing wrong. Anyway, moving on before I completely explode. Ignoring the admittedly similar appearances aside, we also caught a brief glimpse of the silhouetted Savannah level, or a few seconds beforehand, which, yeah, I know it's a cheap visual gimmick, but goddammit, it looks very stylish, I will say that.
Yeah, it's definitely graphically pleasing.
Yeah. And one other feature, which I think you briefly saw when Diddy was flying around, but one interesting feature which has been confirmed by Retro Studios in news released after the trailer, that Diddy can use both his jetpack and his peanut pop guns in this, so...
Oh, awesome. I loved those.
So, yeah, if you may have caught it a brief second before you paused it, but if not, you can catch it for a brief second again after we play it. You can see Diddy using his jetpack to get across a few jumps, which, oh my god, that's going to be so much help. Yeah, anything to add, or?
Nope, just, roll footage.
Okay, a few more things there. First of all, we see some pretty exciting action involving pirate ships shooting at you, which, to be honest, brings me flashbacks of that, I'm trying to remember what the name of the level was. I think it was Target Terror, when that sniper scope was following you all the level. That
Oh yeah, I think I actually very clearly remember that.
that was terrifying. Yeah, without the... I think that level's going to be like that without the sniper scope.